I'm just going to jump on straight on in here because we're just going to welcome up our final panel. If you don't mind just joining me up on the stage, please. So I'm Sam Booth, I'm the Chief Executive of Pro Manchester for those that don't know me. And so we've got the difficult task of the final panel to try and maybe pull all of the information together from everything that we've learned today, which I know is an incredible amount. But I'm lucky enough to have an expert panel here that are going to help do that for us. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves because I think it always comes better from the horse's mouth. Now, we've already met Andy already, but for those that may have joined us after your presentation, Andy, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Yes, you'll hear me. I'm Andy Roberts, Innovation Innovation Manager for Bruntwood SciTech. So I help early stage companies and existing companies across our portfolio working in the life sciences, including in the building we're sat in now.
Brilliant. Harman.
Hi everybody, myself Harman. I'm from the financial space, from the cybersecurity side of things. So we are a cybersecurity services provider, helping all the health tech businesses who are coming up with their ideas and help them validate everything, because if we look at the presentations today, everything was about data and software. So we want to make sure that the controls they have in place are validated.
Brilliant, thank you. And Geeta.
So my name is Geeta. I work for the Business Growth Hub as a business advisor for health and life sciences. The Business Growth Hub are basically designed to help businesses like yourselves with strategy, marketing, business development. So although a lot of you people are the entrepreneurs of what you do, you may have little or no business acumen. So the Business Growth Hub are there to help you with a whole plethora of support to help your business grow.
Thank you. And Claudia.
Hello, my name is Claudia Lindner, and I'm here in my role as the translation lead for the Christabel Pankhurst Institute for Health Technology Research and Innovation. And I'm also a senior research fellow in CERN at the University of Manchester, where I'm developing medical imaging innovations to address clinical needs.
Thank you. So if we take from what Paul Dennett started with, Mayor Paul Dennett started with the actual ambition for Manchester, which is to be a world-leading city region recognised globally for its digital innovation. One of the things that I think has been talked about an incredible amount today, which you've all heard the word collaboration quite a lot. Now, I think the Pankhurst Institute is a wonderful example of that collaboration. So would you maybe tell us a little bit more about the work of the Institute and what you're doing and who you're working with, the partners?
Okay. So the Christabel Pankhurst Institute, it's a partnership. It's a partnership between the University of Manchester, Greater Manchester Combined Authority, the Health Innovation Manchester, and Manchester University NHS Foundation Trust, and Manchester Science Parks as well. And so together we really have the vision to improve the outcomes for patients by through collaborative and multidisciplinary work, really, to bringing the ecosystem together and improving healthcare innovation. So for the university, from the university perspective, that means, for example, to support our researchers to make it more likely for the innovations to be used in real world. And that kind of links back to what Andy was saying this morning in terms of getting rid of that picture of the lone researcher and really getting people involved with the stakeholders early. So talking to clinicians, talking to end users, and co-develop the innovations and the technologies that are being developed at the university, and then supporting the researchers all the way from the beginning at the different stages of taking an innovation from the university research environment into clinical practice. But on the other side, we're also there to support you, so to support businesses, to support NHS trusts. If you, for example, need some specific academic skill set, then we're very happy to link you up with experts at the university to take any ideas that you might have further, or to support you in providing scientific evidence for any innovation that you might have already been developed.
Fantastic, thank you. Manchester is renowned, and it's often celebrated for its collaborative nature. And if I get to visit other places, not very often, I work for Pro Manchester, so therefore I'm mainly here in Manchester. But if I do get to go to other city regions or other places, it's often, it's the topic of conversation is how come Manchester is so collaborative? How do you make that work? And I'm going to fire that over to Geeta to start off with. Why is Manchester so collaborative? What is it that makes us work together better?
So we've got a huge amount of support and help that we can provide to SMEs in Greater Manchester. A lot of the work that's done by a lot of the companies is pro bono, so we provide you with the support that you need free of charge. There, you've got Bruntwood, you've got Health Innovation Manchester, you've got Pro Manchester, you've got the Growth Hub. We're all here to support our SMEs within Greater Manchester. With the levelling up process, where London seems to get everything and the North gets nothing, there seems to be a bit of a shift in wanting to make the North an equal partner in the workforce. And so there are more and more organisations that are out there that are supporting the SMEs. The only problem there may be is that a lot of them don't actually know where to go to get that support. So I think as an organisation, we need to collaborate more with the different partners that we have in Greater Manchester. So the guys that are sat in this audience today know exactly where they can go to get the support that they need.
And Harman, with the businesses that you're working with, you know, what was it about Manchester? What is it about Manchester that you think makes it, you know, really quite a successful collaborative city?
I think there's a good support available around. For example, if I have to give example from my field, we have arrived a bit late here. If you heard of DISH, just recently opened the Digital Security Hub. But cybersecurity is something that sits horizontally across, you know, if you talk about healthcare, all the verticals are there. But the cybersecurity is at the horizontally providing services to everything. Coming back to the Manchester, I think it's a collaboration because the universities are available, community is there, and then the healthcare innovation. Recent example is ourselves. I would say we just won a grant last month, and that's when I actually realized innovation ideas doesn't need to be like groundbreaking. It could be something which changes, and your fresh ideas that you can get on the table to convert something to useful that can be utilized by the whole sector. So this is how healthcare is more focused for us now.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned another, there's lots of C words I've noticed as the themes that have run through today. So collaboration being one of them, community, I think being the other one. And I think that's something that obviously Bruntwood are very, very specialist at, with creating those right environments. How important is place when it comes to really helping accelerate businesses in this sector?
Yeah, I think it's really important to be in the right place and surrounded by the right people, more importantly, to be honest, because at the end of the day, it's just bricks and mortar. It's the people within the buildings and that surround them and that come and go in meetings like this that actually make things work. It's not the buildings, it's not the actual infrastructure, it is the people.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that Bruntwood does well, and I say this as a total non-property person, is they make nice spaces where people want to be, and I think that is actually really important. But it's not just within the buildings that we're in now. You know, we've got the world famous Christmas markets, you know, a 5-minute walk away and things like that. All of this adds to the whole ecosystem and makes people want to be here, because it is people that do things at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's, again, I mean, that one's not a C, but the community bit is, it's very much, that's been a running theme about people, about building relationships, isn't it? And we've had lots of lovely comments about your lovely venue today. So thank you very much for hosting us.
Absolutely nothing to do with the design of this, but if you want to buy me a pint, I'm quite happy.
It lends itself very well. Is there anything else that we think Manchester really has a USP within, you know, really helping to, you know, like I say, driving that world leading city region? Is there anything else that Manchester specifically has? And I'm going to throw that out to everybody, that you think, you know, Manchester really has a real nugget of a gem of a way of working that really helps businesses in the region to really strive and thrive?
Yeah, I think Northerners help. So there's quite a few Northerners in the room, but as a born and bred Northerner, I think we all know the sort of the cliches about people not making eye contact and smiling at each other and saying hello down south, and they're true to an extent. I mean, there's things about stereotypes, as there's always an element of truth in them. But I think, you know, it is just a friendly place to be, isn't it? And I think that's one of the reasons that we do this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I think that has a huge part to play in the collaborative piece, isn't it? Because we all really want to work with each other. I've got a sign at home which says "Be nice or go home," and I also apply that to Pro Manchester. So you're not allowed to be part of the Pro Manchester community unless you're nice. And everyone that's spoken today, I promised them that they were going to be welcomed by a very, very welcoming audience, which you've all been today, which is fantastic. We've talked about some positives about Manchester specifically and about this, but we've also, there's often a lot of talk today about some of those challenges, and one of them being about the complexity of working within this sector. And I just wanted to maybe throw this out to the panel as well with regards to what can Manchester be doing to maybe help navigate some of those complexities for innovative businesses coming through and helping to really succeed in this sector. I'm going to look to you first, Claudia. That's
Yeah,
okay?
so I'm just saying Christabel Pankhurst Institute, because that's what we're there for. So we're kind of, from the university side of view, we're kind of the front door for people to engage with us on any kind of translation activity. So if you're interested, please do get in touch on anything really, and we will see where we can maybe make connection. But it's also important to build these relationships, specifically with industry, so that from the other direction, we can support the researchers at the university to go out and find contacts to maybe for the innovations and developments to be adopted.
Brilliant, Geeta.
So at the Business Growth Hub, since 2011, we've supported over 15,000 businesses like yourselves that need support with solutions to grow the business. We've helped create over 14,000 jobs by supporting businesses like your own, and they're all members of staff that are GM. So they're not staff that have come over from London or from anywhere else. They're staff that have been recruited within Greater Manchester. We've also helped create over 14,000 jobs by supporting businesses. We've safeguarded 12,000 jobs. We've offered £2.8 million in finance offers, and basically the list goes on. So Greater Manchester is a great place to be because there's a lot happening in Greater Manchester. And I'm from the south, by the way, just so you know.
And she's still championing the region. That's great. The thing I was going to ask about, because we have, I mean, obviously we are talking about Manchester specifically today, but we have had some representatives from various other places, whether it be Birmingham or Leeds, which Paul was from. How important is that, you know, that really sort of supporting those northern regions and us pulling together collaboratively as well? Harman, I might come to you on that.
Pulling our weight now, if you see not just real estate, when people look at Manchester just because they feel London is saturated now, but in terms of innovation as well, I think more support for SMEs will be great. I'm just giving my example because if I knew, would have been more encouraged, for example, from risk-taking perspective, I might have left the job probably much earlier. It's sometimes that sort of like innovation culture that needs to be embedded more, maybe more incentives for the innovative ideas in the city specific to Greater Manchester, because that'll be directly contributing to the growth. So I think those kind of specifics down to the local region will be helpful, but I'm aware also about the growth company, how they're helpful to other SMEs. And there's so many things just in the last presentation you mentioned, because if we don't sit through these sort of helpful sessions for SMEs, you won't even know the differences, how many things you can still have your patents, IPs and other areas. Because normally people think, oh, we're not doing something groundbreaking, so it's fine, or we are too small to be hacked, for example. That's quite a common thing in SMEs. They don't want to invest in cybersecurity for those reasons. But it's not about that. And one of the unusual facts about healthcare is healthcare data in underground markets is the most expensive entity as a piece of item, more than your credit cards. So this is why data protection further underlines the need for this to be providing services in a safe and secure manner, because indirectly you're pushing towards patient safety. That's why we're using tech.
The other thing that's been talked about a lot, obviously, today, and I know that Janine mentioned it's in her, so it's about that trust piece as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
offering that security.
We say trust, but then we say comma verify. Without that, trust remains virtual. So yeah.
And Andy, with regards to obviously Bruntwood have sites not just in Manchester as well. So how does that work with maybe working across the other regions that you're working in?
Yeah, so we're trying to work more harmoniously with our other locations. I mean, Bruntwood SciTech as an organisation is a relatively new organisation. It was set up as a collaboration and a JV back in 2014, I think it was. And it only really came to fruition in about 2018. But in terms of working across the UK, I have a lot more connections with my colleagues in Birmingham and well, Manchester obviously, but Birmingham and Cambridge now than I ever have done before. And as we grow those sites, getting the best practices from each of the different sites is becoming much more important, and as is the collaboration. And what the move that we're trying to make now for our customers is that once you join Bruntwood, you join the Bruntwood community. So if you need connecting to people in Cambridge or Birmingham or Glasgow, we can enable those. We can enable those introductions in a way that we couldn't do even 2 years ago. So that because we are pulling that together now to try and create, you know, to try and develop the innovation economy for the whole UK, not just for Manchester, but obviously it is place based, but it's creating the network across the UK.
Part of that much bigger
Yeah.
picture, isn't it, with regards to where it positions the UK within
Yeah.
in the global sphere as well, isn't it? Does anyone have any questions? We are coming close to time, so I am conscious that has anybody got any questions they might like to ask the panel? Okay, well, I'm just going to ask our panel maybe just to give, if there was in the room today, we've had a whole mix of innovators, we've had the professional services, we've had a real mixed audience today. So if there was one takeaway from today, what would that be? And I don't know who I shall go to first. I'm going to go to Andy first because I'm staring right at you.
One takeaway from today. Well, keep it simple, I think. Try and solve the simple problems first. There's an awful lot of really ambitious stuff going on in the NHS, in various healthcare systems, in various labs and other things. But I think the way that we get really good is we listen to customers, as I said before. I don't want to contradict myself, but we try and solve the simple stuff first and get that really good foundation of healthcare innovation built, and then build on that. And obviously some of the solutions are going to be complex, but for the users it shouldn't be complex because people don't like stuff like that.
Absolutely, definitely not. Harman.
I will plug in ourselves first. So with usability comes security, because if you're too harsh on implementing security controls, nobody uses it. You know, we all have seen these sort of like media clips about people writing passwords on posters and stuff. So it's about using technology, but in a way it's simplified for the users at the balance with security, not just an imbalance. Either way would be trouble, you know.
Geeta.
So once you've invented your widget, your solution, make sure you've got your pitching and your presentation sorted before you go to your investors or whoever it is that you want to pitch your product to, because if you cock your pitch up, you're buggered.
That's a great takeaway. And Claudia.
I'm just going to add another C for communication. So it's really no matter at what stage you are in your pathway, whether early on or at the pitch stage or later on, and you just want to kind of scale things up. It's really about talk to people, reach out to people that are experts in their particular field. And we've heard earlier even about the venture capitalists to kind of, you know, choose targeted people that might provide the best feedback for what you're aiming for. So it's really just, yeah, talk to people. If you're interested in anything where we could help, talk to the Christabel Pankhurst Institute, talk to anyone really that is relevant for making your journey successful.
Wonderful, thank you very much. So we've got collaboration, communication, connections, and community as a base start for all of those as well. So brilliant, thank you so much, and a huge thank you to my panel. If you don't mind, just putting them around of applause. I've managed to keep us to 2 minutes over, so please do forgive me, but that is it for today. So a huge thank you to all of you for attending, a huge thank you to our speakers and all of our panelists that have taken part in this. A thank you also obviously to our wonderful sponsors who've made all of this possible. So that's HGF, Mills and Reeves, 6B, Calgills, the Pankhurst Institute, Bruntwood SciTech, and also our media partners Business Cloud who were here earlier as well. A massive thank you to Vicky, who's hosted today and done a wonderful job and helped me to pull all of this together. So thank you to her. And finally, one big thank you to the Pro Manchester team who've worked tirelessly on this, and Izzy at the back there. Give us a wave. She's been the one that's been pulling all of this together. So well done to Izzy. You've done a wonderful job.